What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Save Point Podcast, episode 18. And for honestly, a very special and experimental one, I am one of your co hosts, Alex, as always. I think actually, Sway, we are reversed because normally when we do it on Discord, I'm on the right, you're on the left. But I am here with Sway, and we're here to do the normal episode, but to do it with a little bit more flair, see how things go, see if there is a live thing, a live component we can kind of lean into. We'll start it the same way. I got a couple topics, I'll bounce off of Sway, and we haven't talked about him and I like the Mario fiasco. I definitely want to get your opinion on the review stuff with Rotten Tomatoes. But as always, I want to say this very early on. All of the links for like all of our things are in the description, including the fundraising page for Sway's website. So that's the first thing on all of these podcasts going forward. So if you want to donate or you want to share it around, the link is still there. And so yeah. So Sway, how are you? Happy late birthday, verbally, and what you've been up to.
So really this week I have not been able to game as much as I would like. I played a little WWE. I played a little Hogwarts Legacy, so I've gotten back into that.
Yeah.
Um, and that's pretty much the extent of what I've done gaming wise though. But I have been
Well, how
tapped
was your
into the
birthday?
gaming news.
How was your birthday?
My my birthday was great. It was relaxing. I spent it with family. We had dinner together. Um and really just got to relax. No work, nothing.
Yeah.
I
What?
think I did play a little Halo. I played Halo that day. So,
Yeah. What? Where is? You don't have to show it to the group, but you showed it on Twitter. The Halo,
oh, it's
your
right
gift.
here. Oh yeah, it's the oddball
Oh my
from the game.
god,
Yes, it's got my name on it and everything.
that's pretty
My
sweet.
gamer tag. Yep. And so yeah, I love this thing. Wish there was a way to get fire on it, but I love it.
Yeah,
So
it's been a
yeah.
pretty well, let's see. Since the last time we talked, I actually haven't done much gaming either. I saw Mario, which we'll talk about. I did the review yesterday, but I want to talk about the review scores. I've been playing Alice Madness Returns. That's the one game. I think
Oh,
I started because the Bad Company games are going to be removed, which I hate. I hate that stuff. That's that preservation thing you and I talk about. Um,
yep.
they're being removed. So I started Bad Company 1, playing it the 360 version on the Series X, and it's quite a ride. And then I was like, and actually, my wife didn't like it was boring to her, so she said play something else. And I said, well, you like Alice Madness Returns? I've actually never played that game, so I started it. I'm about halfway through, so it's really the only thing I've been up to in terms of gaming. We're getting close though. We're getting close to the Avalanche. I got the days kind of like blocked out for Crash, for Horizon. I'm trying to, poor Minecraft Legends. Honestly, poor Dead Island 2 as well. So I think Dead Island 2
Yeah.
comes out the 21st, which is
Yep.
right. I don't think I'll be done with the Burning Shores DLC. And then Crash is the 20th through the 24th. So, I mean, Dead Island, you better be good. I swear to God. um,
It's on an island for sure.
so let's start this with and let's see what we can do here. Like with because now we're on StreamYard versus Discord. So I want to pull up the Mario thing. Let's see how. But I want to get let me get your opinion on it, Sway. What have you seen with the Rotten Tomatoes scores, and have you seen some of the critics
I have
conversations regarding this movie?
I haven't gotten to see the specific like I've seen the score. So I believe last time I looked at it was like a 48 on Rotten Tomatoes. Like was
Yeah, I
Rotten?
think it's. I'm
Yeah.
trying to show it. I think it went up, so now it's.
Okay.
Let's see. There we go. So now we got a
53.
53
But a
based off
96.
146, but it's a 96. This is
And I
very
think
Sonic like.
yes, and it's honestly it was kind of look, Black Adam was not like movie wise a great structured movie, but it was a good time. And that's why it had a high audience score. And
Yeah,
I just think that this has been my notion with movies and video game movies or to a certain extent even comic book movies, which is like they're looked down upon, and no matter how well they're done, they just don't deserve to be a great scorer. I haven't
Yeah.
seen Mario yet, but I have two friends that have seen it and they absolutely loved it. One of them is literally a diehard Mario fan. And I just, and a part of me expected this from the critics because that's all they do with video game movies. It's they don't and it's really a tough spot to be in if you're making them because it's like on one hand, it's like if you don't make it a certain type of way, this is gonna happen. But on the other hand, if you don't make it the way you probably should, then the fans are not going to be happy with it.
Right.
So it's kind of like it is a somewhere a perfect medium to get what you're looking for, but for what Mario had to be, just judging off of what I seen in the trailers, judging off of what I heard from my friends, it was exactly what it should have been.
Yeah.
And the review system for critics and the review criteria that has to change.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have to make it more specific towards certain genres, but that has to change because movies like this that has had the love poured into it and um just the lore alone, like and just how everything in there feels like Mario. Um, there has to be something done because that's outrageous.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just the divide, 43%, almost like almost half, of the entire score, like a 5 point swing. And I want to watch some of maybe the Grace Randolph clips with you if you haven't seen them yet, or for
I
the
have not
for the
seen them
pod.
yet.
Oh, they're hilarious. Okay, so but I want to just look Sonic. What did Sonic first one? Because people, this is what, yeah. See, this is another one. 64.93. Like such a
They
jump.
barely got fresh, barely.
Yeah. But see, Rotten Tomatoes in general, like with like I think if they Rotten Tomatoes is so weird with the scores. I guess it's kind of maybe even more so how it should be, but the numbers just always make it look so bad. Where
Yeah.
like if it's over, isn't it? If it's over a certain thing, like if you gave it a 51, a 5.1, it'd be considered fresh. So it's like a perfect score. And then if you gave
Mm-hmm.
it a 49, it's considered rotten because it's basically like a 0 out of. So it's either, you know what I mean? I'm pretty sure that's how Rotten Tomatoes works. Is they round
Yep.
everything to 0 or to 10, whichever one you're closest to, and then that, so 64%, like that's they're rounding all of those up to tens, and they're rounding all the bad ones down to 0, um, which is kind of hilarious. What did Sonic 2 get? It's just so funny what people thought. 69. See, I thought Sonic 2 was not even close to Sonic 1. 69.96.
I feel
Okay,
like
so
the
let
critics gave
me.
in. They're like, we didn't do well the first time. Let's bump it up a little bit, even though it doesn't make sense. That's what it had to be.
um. Okay, let me let me go on Twitter to try to find some of these Grace Randolph clips. So you haven't seen any of Have you seen
I,
some of the criticism for in general for this movie that people are saying?
I've seen a couple of clips like just scrolling by on Twitter, but nothing like too in depth that I remember off the top of my head. But
Okay.
I did remember seeing that there
Is there? I
were
mean, there were
critics
some
that did not
actual, like, the
criticism.
plot. The plot is paper thin. I actually thought the plot was, as I saw, I loved it. I really liked it. I thought the plot was fine. Like, it's not deep. Honestly, though, I think it's more simplistic in a good way over Sonic. Sonic kind of buried itself, and I love James Marsden. I think he's awesome. I've always loved, and like Enchanted and stuff, Westworld. I mean, he's in so many great things. But they don't have to do that. And like Sonic 2 specifically, I liked did you see Sonic 2?
Mhm.
I liked the human arc, like the wedding. I thought I mean it was funny, like all the humans did a really good job, but it was so unnecessary. And the Sonic parts were just always better. So Mario is as if you just removed that fluff. Like they're not going to focus on human beings, they're focusing on Mario like the whole time. So I actually think like the plot is so simplistic, but it's not trying to have like two different, like a subplot. like Sonic 2 had. I actually think that hurt Sonic 2, to be honest.
I think also, I mean, it's when you look at like, for example, how you would grade a like how critics would grade a Disney movie, right? Like or a Pixar movie should be more exact. Um, I just want to know, like, I can probably form more of an opinion after seeing it, which I'll probably see it tomorrow, maybe even
Yeah,
in the night. But I just really want to know how that was like differentiated. You know what I mean? Because I feel like you would grade those kind of the
yeah.
same
Well,
way. Like,
well,
and
that's
it
one of the
doesn't have to
first
be.
things I want to look at. I'm Grace Randolph. But firstly, the boy Dave, what's up, buddy? Are people being a bit too hard on Mario Bros? Yeah, I think so. I think so. I mean, you can have issues with it. I don't think it's a perfect film. I said one issue I have is in the middle of the movie, it literally every like 2 or 3 minutes, it jumps back and forth between sets of characters and locations. So it goes
Okay.
like it literally goes like 2 or 3 minutes, and then it jumps to like it's Mario and Peach, and then it jumps to Bowser and Luigi, and then it goes back, and it does that like 3 times back and forth and back, and it's very like the pacing's weird. You know, what I mean? So I actually do think film wise there is an issue there, but let's look at some of the things Grace says here, because these are not. Let's see. I like doing this honestly. I think this is fun. I got to get better at it, but first time. Okay, this this is the great one. Totally inaccessible for non-fans of the Super Mario game from Nintendo. Fans might even have a hard time with a non-existent, antiquated, and somewhat offensive story. Shocking misfire for Illumination, the only bad movie they've ever made. Sway, what do you think? First time seeing this. I mean, I have
Offensive.
thoughts.
The offensive part, like I said, because I haven't seen
Well,
it,
okay. Well, I'll tell
I
you. So
yeah.
offensive. I don't think this is spoiling it. It's Bowser wanting to marry Peach, just like he does in the games. So he just wants to date her. That's it. So it's the Me Too thing.
I look, I that she
That's it.
so
That's literally it. That's what it is. That's what these people are. When they say if you've seen any other people say the story is offensive, it's because Bowser wants to marry her, and if she doesn't marry him, he'll like unleash his army. That's the plot. That's the whole point. He wants to impress her. He wants to marry her, just like in the games. And then if she says no, then he'll get mad, and that's the whole point. And he's
uh,
jealous that she likes Mario.
look, I'm with people who maybe were tired of the whole damsel in distress thing, but we can't pretend like Mario or even Legend of Zelda isn't about saving a princess, right? I know it's 2023 and all, but that legitimately is faithful to the source material.
Yeah,
And I can't imagine why a lot of people just kind of have this thought idea of like you want it because that's what you're asking to do is change, and there's that word modernize what you think something should be, and then you wonder why when you do that fans have a large backlash, and the excuse is always that the fans are this or the fans are that, and it's just like no, we just want what we grew up with to be preserved. If you really want it to be that progressive and change things, you would make a whole new IP and you would do what you want to do there. But the problem and the reason why you won't is because I feel like a lot of people don't have faith that that would sell. So how
right.
do we do what we want to do, but make sure we get money off of it?
Yeah,
Let's start taking these old IPs and changing it. And you're
yeah.
doing the easy thing instead of the hard thing.
And Peach is very like the whole I think even Anna Taylor Joy has talked about like they wanted to make Peach more empowering, and I don't think it's overkill at all. She knows what she's doing. She's like a formidable, foe. Mario is the one though, and Luigi actually too. But Peach is definitely very like independent. I think that's kind of a perfect little blend. You make her more powerful. She's not literally somebody who gets captured in the beginning of the game. She's stuck in a castle, right? Like the whole time. She's
Mm-hmm.
not that, but the idea, it's still the same thing. That you're trying to rescue. Or not, well, not even actually. There's no rescuing. They maybe try to rescue her for like 5 minutes, so there really is no rescue even involved. The
Even
only
better.
thing that's kept similar is the Bowser Peach thing. Like that's the thing.
I
So
don't know what she wanted.
let's look
They
at.
made strives.
There's some clips of her.
That works, and I'm.
Oh yeah, the the cat one. Let's see.
Okay.
When could Mario turn into a cat? I guess like if you're into furries, that works, and maybe that'll play really well in Asian markets. I know they love cats over there, like love cats.
So two problems. Number one, that's a power up. Number two, is she saying that a cat outfit only applies to furries or Asian people? Is that what she just said? I'm pretty sure it's
She
what she
is
just
not
said.
doing herself any favors right now, man. She strikes me as a person that has never played a Mario game outside of like playing a level through one time, and maybe she didn't even finish it. She's not much of a gamer from what I'm gathering here.
No.
Today's marketplace post Me Too to hear Bowser declare that he's going to ask Princess Peach to marry him, which apparently isn't a spoiler because I looked it up and it happens in the games all the time. Wow, that's stalker behavior. And I would say kind of makes this not appropriate for children, quite frankly. Today's market.
I mean, come on.
The Mario games have been for children, and it has not caused anybody any type of trauma or distress.
I mean, like, look at these. Yikes. So she goes through. I mean, I've watched some of her stuff. I don't generally like her, but she like writes out basically this is like her itinerary to talk about. So yikes, torture, torture. Why so bad? No exposition. Horrible script. I don't agree. Bowser, I assume. Girl power.
Man, this is. And also, years and years ago, like I used to watch Grace Randolph, and she seemed a little more balanced than she is, especially now. But like the last couple of years, she's just really taken a different level of madness, if you will. So I don't. It's not tolerable now, and that's. It's bad when James Gunn can't even.
Yeah, James Gunn's gone after her. I've never seen this clip. Let's watch one more, and then we'll move on to whatever's next.
Oh God.
Latest one. Of course, they did the live action one many years ago. But while this is supposed to be an origin story where Mario and Luigi do discover the Mushroom Kingdom for the very first time, I didn't even know it was called the Mushroom Kingdom. I had to look it up. It's not even made clear in the movie. But the movie is latest.
And then the comment is, did she even watch it? Toad says the name of the kingdom directly to Mario at the start. And that's true because actually a theme with this film is Mario hates mushrooms, like eating mushrooms. So when he arrives, Toad says Mushroom Kingdom, and Mario's like, like he's like disgusted by it. I remember that joke because it's a joke that Toad says to him. So that's weird. That's odd.
She's looking for issues where there are none. Even if they didn't tell you, like they clearly made this.
There's mushrooms all over the
gamers.
Place.
Yeah, they clearly made this for gamers at heart, and it's kind of like,
oh my God, and no, like that. They totally say the name because Peach is the princess of the Mushroom Kingdom, and she talks about how like the Mushroom Kingdom will be destroyed by Bowser if we don't do this or that. They mention that tweet's right. They mention it. It's not even just in the beginning. They mention it multiple times throughout the film. Oh my God, it's only an hour and a half film. It's not even that much to take in, But no, honestly, I loved it. I love the film. I think it looked beautiful. I have to bow down to the water. There's water in this film, and it's unbelievable for an animated film how good the water looks. I didn't expect it. The Mario Kart thing is. I'll tell you this, Sway. If you saw the trailer, you've seen the Mario Kart kind of clips.
Rainbow Road, my
10
favorite
times
map.
better than you think it'll be. Like
oh
it
my
is.
God.
Like think about how great it can be, and then multiply it. Like it's perfect. It's literally perfect. There's a couple times too where the camera angle will change and it's very much a game, like you're watching a game. so good. I mean, I like it's a Mario fan's dream. I don't know what they could have done. Um, I guess it's limited. Like there really is only like 5, 6 characters. Like there's really, they kind of kept it contained. So going into the future, I mean, give me Wario, give me Waluigi, like give me these characters. I won't spoil it, but actually in the end credits, they start to open it up and they introduce a character, let's say.
Ooh.
Yeah, which I'm freaking pumped for. So I mean,
You're gonna
make it a
move up my
universe.
timetable. I'm gonna have to make it
You have
tonight.
to. I mean, you truly see it. Honestly, don't listen to Grace. Don't listen to the critics. All right. Is there anything else you want to say about the Mario fiasco? I think it's just a further point that critics and the audience are not on the same page. And
No.
we see it like 10 times a year. But this is a big one because whenever a movie makes so much money, whenever the scores are that big of a jump, right? 50 something to 96 or whatever. Whenever it's that big, whenever a movie like this is going to make like 800 million and critics are basically like, nah, this is like one of those that you skip. It's like the disconnect is there.
And not to mention that movies pivot. So when the Rotten Tomatoes score isn't good for the critic side, but it's good on the audience, they can still hold up Rotten Tomatoes and just put the audience score there, and it
Oh, yeah.
works all the same. So it's just like it doesn't even.
And I would argue Sonic took the audience score and like the first Sonic movie, they looked and they said, well, which one would we rather appeal to? And they said, well, fans gave it like a 95. Let's go for fans for Sonic 2. And we saw the scores. It was like a 90, 95 or something for Sonic 1, 96 for Sonic 2. So I guarantee they only looked at the fans and they said, we made a movie they adore. Let's do it again. Mario, why would you change it? Right? You would change it if you looked at the critics. You would say, there's something wrong here. If you look at the fans and you would say, it's almost a perfect film for them. Why would we change anything?
And I think that it's going to make bank, and that's going to be the other thing. That movie, depending on how much it makes when it's finally done at the when it finishes its run at the cinemas, that's gonna really decide how great this was. But the fan reception is definitely the icing on the cake. That money, that's what's gonna be about.
Which Mario game do you think could be a good adaptation for a sequel? So I've always loved Super Mario Galaxy. That's my favorite. There's a hint. There's a hint in the movie. It's not even like an Easter egg. It's like kind of right in your face. I think they'll go Rosalina, that kind of area. I think that's probably where they're heading. I just imagine, or at least obviously that's like on the docket. But like I said, I mean, I think like seeing Wario would be freaking sweet.
Wario is my favorite Mario character.
Is he? Yeah.
Yes, he is.
I'd say give me him. Give me something Super Mario Galaxy like. I think give me Rosalina. I mean, I think I would take, or like a King Boo. I think would kind of be fun. Like that you could do. But I'm like, give me like Nintendo. Go for it. I don't think Metroid would work because like the Metroid games have never really sold well. So to make a movie, but like, can you do a Legend of Zelda film? I think you could. An animated Legend of Zelda. All animated. I'm not saying, I guess Metroid, you probably could do Metroid live action if you want.
That's what I would say. Metroid would have to be, I think it would work live action more than it would animated.
Yeah. That's where it would scare me though. Because I actually think animated is where they would, they do well. Kirby. Could you imagine a Kirby animated movie?
Kirby would sell. It would sell. It's like hotcakes. I mean, I literally get every Kirby game just myself, like when they release it on Nintendo. So I was just like, you give me a Kirby movie. I mean, as an adult, I'm paying for it. I can't imagine.
It's interesting because, well, like you said, with money, right? Like, if this makes bank, if this does and I think it's got a chance at like $1 billion. I think it probably maybe like the 700-800 million is very likely. So this thing gets close to $1 billion. The issue is Mario the only thing that can do this? Because honestly, Sonic, who's also an icon, Sonic only did like 300 to 400 million. So Sonic couldn't even cross $500 million, right? So could Kirby? Could Zelda? Or is it literally because everybody knows Mario? Is it only Mario that could do this?
I believe Kirby, Zelda. Honestly, you can just spin off. I mean, they don't even have to rush into those. You could spin off Mario characters like Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah, that could you imagine a horror animated film? That's
Yes.
Luigi's Mansion. That'd be that I'd say that one or Kirby. I think would be my go-to spin-offs. I think I'd pitch like a Zelda thing. I think Zelda would sell and do really well. And then if you really wanted to go for it, Metroid would be interesting. If you could do like a Smash Bros thing somehow, or if you could even do an element of like Mario Kart is in this movie. So if you could do
Yes.
a Smash Bros and Mario 2, I mean how much
Have it
better can you
center around a
possibly get?
tournament. Like make it like a knockoff like Mortal Kombat, where it's
Yeah,
like
yes.
there's the
Or even and he
tournament.
like he just walks into it and Pikachu is fighting, all these things. And then he fights once and he leaves. Like just make it a 10-minute little arc in the film. I think you could do it. I don't know how many licenses you would need because if you wanted
But
like,
it would be like Ready Player One, like where it was just like you just look around and there's different
yeah,
characters everywhere. Like that's how I would play it.
yeah. I think it'd be freaking perfect to be honest with you.
Same.
DC Temple, what's up, buddy? People are already talking about Mario versus Sonic. Oh my god. How do you guys feel about this? Seems like others want both universes merged already. Can we do an Olympic Games with that? I don't think that would
Yeah.
work, but I mean that would be freaking. I don't know what licenses. I mean, you just have to have Sega's approval and Nintendo's approval. Share the money. If anything, they'd make more money because you'd be taking an established. I think it kind of paves the way.
Yeah.
But Mario is animated. Sonic is, what would you even call
It would
Sonic?
have to be. They're both different continuities, clearly, and unless you want to do some sort of like multiversal thing where you can, which is what probably both companies will want to
what's
leverage
interesting,
it.
I don't know, without spoiling, Mario exists in the, like, I think the Mushroom Kingdom and all that stuff is like a multiverse because Brooklyn, like they are in Brooklyn to start. So they are in an actual New York, but they're animated. They're not live people. And Sonic, I mean, what would you even consider Sonic himself? He's not really animated. He's kind of what you would take an animated version and putting him into a real. So they do both exist in a real world, but they're like animated differently. I think you could. I think you keep the voice. I think you keep Chris Pratt. Ben Schwartz, I think is the voice. I mean, I think you keep them. I think you could do it. Who would say no? Because Sonic makes a lot of money, but Mario makes even more. So if you put them together, you're probably guaranteed at least the Mario money. You split it. I think you're both Nintendo and Sega. I think you're both happy with that, right?
Yep, easily.
I never thought of that actually at all, putting those two together. But do it. You could do it in Smash. You can do it in a Smash Bros. Thing, to be honest with you. I know it's out of place and off topic. That's okay. That's what this podcast is about. But when do you think a Superman game will release between 2023 and 2033? That's a good question. And this is why we're doing this live, by the way, is to just, say whatever. What do you think, Sway?
Assuming that the Superman game is being worked on, or there is one being worked on, which by how much David Zaslav seems to love Superman, I couldn't imagine that there wouldn't be. The only question is this in Elseworlds or is this the canon? So either way, I would like to say that if we haven't heard about it now and Wonder Woman is coming out next year, we don't know when Suicide Squad is dropping. I would say, I'm going to be bold here. I'm going to say 2027. 2027.
So I would just assume 4 to 5 years to make it. So if they started it just now, 2027, 2028. Yeah, I think in DC Temple said 2028. So I think that 5, not even just because it's halfway in between the next decade, but just that's how long it takes to make a game. Yeah,
Yep.
No, I think you're right. I think if they weren't already doing a Superman game, they definitely are now. Somebody in the world, but it probably just started like in 2023. So we're not hearing about it for like 2 more years. It's not coming out for another 2 or 3, after that. I can imagine that. Do you think Batman Beyond games similar to Arkham games with Gotham looking like New York with Spider-Man 12? Oh my God.
That's what it should be, though. That's what it should be. Like I seen, like Shattered Dimensions is one of my favorite Spider-Man games, and Batman Beyond would totally flourish in that city if they like imagine what you could do now with like how games have evolved with cities and maps and just it would be beautiful to just fly around that
Yeah.
city, jet boots and all.
Well, we were close
We
at a
were
point.
close.
At what point, at that point that we see Mario and Sonic together, should Sonic be full-on 3D animation like Mario, or should both characters exist but continue to maintain their own art style? Ooh, yeah, that's what I was kind of getting at. Do you bring? So I think the only options are you bring Sonic over to Mario, or you
Mario.
keep them into. I actually would never make Mario like Sonic. So
No.
I would make Sonic like Mario, or I would keep them looking like they do and just combine them in this weird, wacky world. Those would be my two. But I would never make Mario what Sonic. You know what I mean? I think Mario just works so well in this movie with visually how he looks. So that's what I would do.
I think for me it's more of a I think Sonic should come over to Mario's art style. Um I would love them to make a bold decision, like just keep them both as is
Yeah.
in Mario's world, but it might be so jarring for people to see
Yeah.
the differences depending on how it's executed. That I just think that the
And I don't
safest
even know
route
how
is
would you like how does the animations, right? Like how does that work? Like Mario's, when you going around Mushroom Kingdom, there's all the toads and stuff, and everybody looks. But I don't even like how you animate it, how you draw it, how you program. Then if you put Sonic in, I guess you could still do the same thing, but I think you'd have to bring them over to Mario's world regardless.
and I
Um,
feel like the plot would probably just thinking about both companies, they would want both of their worlds if they did do that partnership to be well represented. So I
yeah.
unfortunately do think that we would get characters from Mario going over to Sonic and vice versa. Like they would treat it like some sort of the end of a multiverse and they gotta save the multiverse and then like so they're bouncing back and forth between both verses. And I just feel like that would be the safest plot that they would do. And it would advertise both of their movies, all of their characters, everything like that. I just feel like
So
from a business
if they did
perspective,
a
that's what they do.
multiverse arc with like a Kirby game and all this stuff, and then and Sonic and Mario, and then they brought them all together for like an end game kind of thing. Well, do you think that would be better than Marvel's? I think so. I think
Yeah,
immediately.
it would be entertaining. It would it would be listen, they couldn't mess it up. They couldn't mess it up. You would have to try to mess that up.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I like this back and forth of Superman and Mario here. Bring
Yeah.
Superman in. I don't care. Yeah, I agree with the Superman game. I think it'll be a long time still we get it. Yeah, I think it'll happen. What studio would you pick to make an Aquaman game or Namor? How do you say is how did they
Name
say is
I
it?
say Namor. I mean, that's how it was pronounced in the comic
And
books.
then they
They
roll, but
said
they
no
roll
more.
no, 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 or Namor. I don't know how they freaking roll. I can't roll my R's. Um, I asked this question because I know you, Alex, in particular, are loving all the aquatic stuff. I do. And like I said earlier, the water in Mario, you need to see it to believe it. A studio's make an Aquaman game.
Let's how would you feel about like I mean obviously this requires some licensing here.
Yeah.
But if you're making a Aquaman game, right? I feel like Namor would probably have an easier access time getting hold of Guerrilla Games. But after Horizon, seeing how they did water,
Yeah. Oh,
I I they need to make one of these characters games.
that's a good point. See, the issue with me, I'll just be honest. Okay, so the issue with me whenever I'm pitched the idea of giving a studio a superhero game is to never give it to like an established studio. And the reason, or like one that I know, and the reason is just simply I want them to do their own thing.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's just flat out. I get that's not even the way it works. I get that it's very possible some of these studios do get brought to do these
But you
superhero
get a
things.
lot more care put into the game that way.
Yeah. And I also get that the game itself would be better off with some of these, some of these teams. But I think to like Insomniac and I really would take Ratchet and Clank and Infamous and all these. I would take these or Infamous is Sucker Punch, but I would take these or Resistance, Ratchet and Clank. I would take those or new IPs over Spider-Man. Like as odd as that sounds, just because of you know what I mean? It doesn't mean Spider-Man's bad. It doesn't mean it's not a perfect fit for Insomniac because it is. It's a match made in heaven. I just always prefer to keep them separate. So I actually didn't even think of Gorilla, but that is the perfect team to do Aquaman. Would I
I
want
think
that? Actually, my answer would actually be no, because I'd
yep.
prefer them to do. You don't even have to continue Horizon, make new things. But that's a very weird mindset. Like I totally get that. If I literally had to pick a team, I guess I would pick Gorilla.
I agree with that a lot, actually. I think like I never thought about it in the context of superhero games because I just kind of feel like every developer is going to try to find a way to make a
Yeah, at this
superhero
point.
game at this point. So it's
Yeah,
just like, but that is legitimately 100% how I look at most things, which is like even like when they create a franchise, like for example, Naughty Dog with The Last of Us and Uncharted, it's just
yeah,
like I love when they get successful. I love when you make a franchise out of them, but man, like give us a new IP, like
right.
keep innovating. You know what I'm saying? Because I say before the PlayStation 3 era, maybe we were so used to just constantly getting new IPs and new IPs and new IPs. And now, once a franchise takes off and it really sticks, they kind of just bunker down and do that one thing. When these
Yeah,
studios prior to that will pump out like 4 or 5 games and just keep going or something like
right.
that. And then it just becomes about this one franchise.
Yep. No, that's where I'm at. I mean, I love Uncharted to death, and I'll always want to see more of them. But I always have to remind myself, and this is how I say it in videos. You have to let them do new things because how did Uncharted, The Last of Us, how did these games start? You don't get them if you don't let them try things, right? Like you
Exactly.
literally, if you just make one franchise, you just keep going. Even like a Halo, if you just keep going, yeah, you may be making some really cool pieces of art of these kind of experiences in that universe, and that could offset it. But at the same time, you could be making another Halo.
New ones.
Yeah. Like,
If
where's
they
your
do it.
next Halo? Well, you can't make a next Halo if you never make another new IP. Now, that new IP could fail for sure. And as games become more costly, it becomes scary for these companies to do it. But you look at like a Plague Tale. I think maybe that's a perfect example. Look at just a random. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that Plague? It spawned 2 games. I'm sure we'll get a third game. They've sold well for what they are. They've sold well. They've made them money, and they're some of my favorite games ever. Right. So that's kind of where I'm at. And superhero games is just like the biggest thing, right? Like you said, everybody's doing superhero games. I'm sure like a Naughty Dog or Sucker Punch or Gorilla will eventually make one. I think that's a bad idea, but I'm
Yeah.
sure. But it's a bad idea. But I'm also pretty confident that that game would be incredible. Like it'd be a
Yep.
great game. I just think the creative side would not be, good.
We need new IPs a lot.
Yeah.
What thoughts on the Minecraft movie coming April 4th, 2025? It's on my birthday. I I think that's my
Would
nephew
that be your
loves
30th?
Minecraft.
If you don't mind, if your age, you don't have
I'm
to give
20.
away.
I just turned 29,
Oh,
so
you're 29.
that's
Okay, okay. So
31.
31.
So that'd be 31. I my nephew loves Minecraft. Loves
Yeah,
it. For just thinking about for him, that would be huge.
yeah,
I think that is one of the IPs that is should have had one a long time ago. The
yeah,
money that they stood to make when it was at its peak, I don't think that they would be able to capitalize off of that, but they're still going to make a lot of money from that.
yeah,
I think that that's going to be very successful. I just always think that it could have been more if you acted on that quicker.
yeah. No, I didn't think like what could give Mario a run for money at the box office would actually be
Minecraft
Minecraft. Yeah. Even like WoW, but they did that. I think WoW is one of the it
live
is one of
action.
the yeah, and it's one of the highest, if not the highest, grossing video game adaptations. Or Sonic is definitely up there. Uncharted did pretty okay. Um, if you had to pick one animated character from a show or game that you believe could carry a movie franchise, who would it be? Got to hear you guys think.
Is it like when you say animated, does this mean like it's coming from like a game,
Yeah, so
comic
you have
book,
to
or just
pick an
like
animated character that's in a
oh,
show
it is
or
from a
game
game.
right now
Okay. Show
that
or
then you
game.
would make a movie. Animated. Well, like I think Sly Cooper could carry, but like in terms of money, it would not carry. But I think like watching a Sly movie would be freaking insane. Okay, like I think to Crash and Spyro, those aren't big enough. Um, You'd have to probably go down Nintendo. Like, I don't
You would
think
have to.
Sony has animated, or even like a Jack and Daxter, but none of them would be that's from gaming. So gaming would have to probably be more Nintendo. Shows, I don't watch enough shows. I'll be honest. I don't know an animated show. I think like a Codename Kids Next Door. I think if you made that a movie, that'd
Yeah,
be freaking
I
good.
used to love Codename Kids Next Door.
Codename Kid, it's an incredible, what an incredible arc.
Oh man.
Yeah, I think you'd have to go into. I think Link and Zelda. Zelda would be the one for me. That would be the. It
Yeah.
would be the cool
It's a happy
factor.
medium.
It would work, and I think it would be. I'd fight anybody on if they could find something that'd make more money. Minecraft would, Minecraft, Fortnite. Could you do a Fortnite movie? Now, I would never see a Fortnite movie. Ever.
They don't have any original characters. It would
Yeah.
literally be carried by like.
It'd be like Ready Player One, which I
Yeah.
like. I mean, I like that movie. But what would you do in Fortnite? Like you're building, but isn't there like the no build game modes now? So what would you actually do in a Fortnite film? Well, yet again, what would you do in a Minecraft film? So I guess touche. I don't know. I don't know how they're creating these ideas. Mario at least is very simple, and a lot of them have already been done. Yeah, Fortnite. I'm trying to think, what are the other like big live service games that are ongoing, but a lot of them aren't animated, like a PUBG, Apex. I'm sure I'm missing some live service games.
Man.
People get mad at me for.
I mean, at this point, Call of Duty.
Call of Duty. But Call of Duty
like
is just
if
a
you
war.
made
That's
it
just a war
correctly.
movie. You just
Right,
make a
but
war
you could
movie.
slap the name on it and just call it anything.
That's true. That is true. Honestly, COD. I mean, if we're going away from like animated, we're just doing games turn into movies. I think the BioShock idea is great. Like I don't have confidence in Netflix, but they've talked about respecting the source material and other things that I kind of like. I think a BioShock 1, Rapture. I mean, the
Gears
beauty
of
of
War.
that, and it's sophisticated. It's adult like. So I think BioShock actually would work really well. Uncharted, they've already done. Last of Us, they've already done. Halo, can we get a redo? I'd like a redo of Halo.
We need a redo, man.
Yeah.
It's some things that need to change. Season 2 has to be either dramatically different, or we need a whole redo. We need just a.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of the community, the second season is this last chance here.
I think. Oh, here's one. Kingdom Hearts. I think Kingdom Hearts would work as a show or a movie. I think a show, probably, to be honest with you. I don't think you get Tetsuya Nomura to write a 2-hour movie and say, you only have 2 hours, sir. And he said, well, I need 50. Well, sir, you got 2. I do think Kingdom Hearts would work.
And Kingdom Hearts would have potential to have more than 7 seasons.
Yeah. It would. You'd be bank. In fact, he'd be asking you. He's like, well, I'm really gonna need like 12 seasons to tell this, and they're like, oh, we were gonna offer you like 6. Yeah, I think Kingdom Hearts. I'm trying to think like a Final Fantasy show or movie. Yep. You got to go down Square Enix. I mean, Resident Evil has been tried. Resident Evil is such an easy one too, and they've just failed time and time and time again.
Devil May Cry. I would
Devil
never
May Devil May Cry is a good one.
Give me that live action animated. I mean, there is an anime for it, but like, give me that live action animated. I think it could carry. I think a lot more people are just. I don't think enough people are aware of the franchise from like a casual fan or like a more like branched out fan standpoint. But like, it was originally a Resident Evil game, and we see how many people love Resident Evil. So I think that can carry.
And we're seeing Street Fighter now, right? That was the one.
Ooh, I got so hyped seeing that yesterday. Oh man. And who's oh my god. Legendary?
Yeah.
Oh my god. That's gonna be. I hope they don't mess this up. Do not mess this up.
Yeah. Mortal Kombat's obviously a good one, and they did the movie, and and they're making a sequel. So.
I liked it.
Yeah, I think it's the best one, of the Mortal Kombat films that have been done. I don't want to go back to ones that have like Life is Strange is getting a TV show. I'm very worried about it. but at the same time, it's just so easy. It's just copy the first game. Just literally copy it. Don't add any stupid nonsense. Don't even do the second game. Just do the first. Do Max and Chloe, and peace out. And if you did that, you'd be fine. So there's that. Okay, now we're backed up with, this is turning into just a normal live stream where we're backed up with questions, and I'm taking us off. Would you love to see Remedy making either Dr. Fate or Doctor Strange? The age-old Remedy's the one with Alan Wake and Control. So that's the age-old. Give Remedy Doctor Strange because they did Control. Again, they're making like 5 games. I love Alan Wake. I liked Control. I didn't love it as much as other people did, but I love Alan Wake. Yes, it's a match. It's what I was saying earlier. Like, it makes so much sense. I think they would do a Doctor Strange game great. I don't want them to because I want them to make Alan Wake and new IPs and stuff.
I think if I had to choose, I would say Dr. Fate. And the reason why is because DC needs more games out there. They could use it. As a DC fan, I would love as much DC content out there as possible right now. Marvel, they've been so consistent for so long, and DC has been so reliant on one character that it's just like I'm excited at just the thought of like people will get to see like imagine Marvel only being carried by Spider-Man for years, and you've never seen Captain America or Iron Man or any of those, and then you're like, no, we got like a whole slew of characters that you're gonna love, and it's just like for me, it's like Dr. Fate more than a lot is a character that I would love to see in a video game, and because he leans in that side of the world where you start getting into the Constantines and like the really creepy and dark area of DC, which I think is also another well of money waiting to be tapped into.
Yeah. Not to derail us, but a news-ish thing that broke. Tom Henderson reports that EA has officially unveiled basically its replacement to FIFA. How EA is losing FIFA, but they're going to make their own FIFA. EA Sports FC, which will replace FIFA. Just as a side thing.
That is I kind of expect, because they don't need to change anything besides the name, honestly.
Yeah,
I mean,
pretty much they just had to change the name.
Yeah, just change the name.
The news that went on behind the scenes there was always pretty funny, where it's like, we really just need to change the name. We don't have to change much after that. Superman game or Green Arrow game? I think a Green Arrow and you know, like we're seeing the TMNT game now, the AAA. I think a Green Arrow game would work.
Green Arrow for me too. Green Arrow is in my top 3 DC characters. So
there you go.
Yes,
it needs to happen then.
It needs to happen.
Quantum Break or Control movie? Well, there we go. What game would you? Yeah, I think Control would work. I think Alan Wake. I mean, I think Alan Wake is literally a TV show. Okay, because it's chapters and all that stuff. So Alan Wake kind of already is one. I think Control would work. Fortnite movie wouldn't make any money. Like, a lot of kids would watch it. I don't think anyone. I think it's. I don't know.
I don't know if it would be good, but it would make money.
Yeah. I mean, because I think you could maybe apply that logic wrongfully, like to Mario. Like, well, Mario's only for kids, but it's not. Fortnite is only for kids, but it's not. One thing I would be interested in is Minecraft. I believe the statistics are like 70% of players are like 13 and younger. So that would, so not to like super disagree or throw you under the bus, DC Temple. I think Minecraft is actually the one to watch, because if you think, you know, pick the movie, the upcoming movie that really would only apply to kids, and then see how that movie does, it would be Minecraft, because only 30% are above the age of like 12, 13 years old. So, you know, but yet, you know, you look at like the Illumination things of like Minions and stuff, like how many adults are Minions fans? It's mainly kids, and the adults have to take them. So I think you can make a movie that, really any kids movie, you make them for kids, the parents have to go, you know, makes a lot of money. So we'll see. Maybe only YouTubers sponsored by Epic Games who are doing only Fortnite content would watch it. That's true. You'd have every Twitch streamer on planet Earth That is one. I mean, that is one thing. If you made a
You'd get so
Fort,
much promotion.
yeah, if you made a Fortnite movie, you'd have Ninja crawling out of his mansion, all these people doing Fortnite ads, and it would be unbearable. It would actually, I think, hurt the film, to be honest with you. But you would definitely have it. My Pirates of the Caribbean game idea. I tend to do it I'm actually going to do my Scream game idea and pitch it in a video. I like to re-up it every couple of years. Again, I mean, just give me a lot of money. Like once we get Sway to 350,000, then give me 350,000, and I'll see how to make a Pirates game. I think I would need more than that to make a Pirates game. There you go. What's your thoughts? Anything deeper on the Street Fighter?
So honestly, it depends on what they would like to take. I'd like to see them tell the cohesive story because I feel like for a lot of people, even though I know it, occasionally because Street Fighter is top 3 favorite franchises for me, I occasionally even would just randomly go down a dark hole on YouTube a couple of times out the year, just to refresh myself on the story. And because it's not made that apparent to like people. So if I was to ask anybody who plays every Street Fighter, I've encountered a lot of people who say like I don't really know what the story is. That's because it's out of whack. So like Street
Yeah.
Fighter 5 actually takes place before Street Fighter 3. So it's telling a cohesive story from point A to point B. I believe that they could just do that and keep true to the characters. I think you can open up and a lot more people be able to understand what's going on. You'd open a lot more doors than you already have.
Yeah. And there you go. At what point do you believe we'll wrap up? This has become a pretty solid show, I think. But we'll wrap up over the next like 10 or so minutes. At what point do you believe that game developers will reach out to independent creators to start making original content? For example, the guy who made the Batman 89 demo would have liked to see that. Well, you've already seen who was it? Is it Final Fantasy? There was some news story where some mod or some person that has done like graphics online on like YouTube was hired by one of these games. Now it's happened before, but it just happened like 2 weeks ago. Somebody was hired.
I want to say like with Cyberpunk 2, they hired a couple of people who did mods and brought them onto the team as well.
Yep. So I think it's only a matter of, firstly, so many of these studios keep opening, and they actually, yes, we're seeing a lot of layoffs and stuff, but there's a lot of positions. Like you go on any game developer site, you'll see jobs, right? So everybody's hiring. There's more There's more companies opening up. Gaming is booming. Also, there's people not applying for those jobs, so there's literally not enough. So I think eventually what you have to do is say, hey, there's creatives on YouTube. Maybe they don't fit the exact skill set, but let's reach out to them and see, well, YouTube, Twitter, any of these, social platforms, and let's get them. And I think it's already begun. I think it's super slow, but I think within the 5 years, maybe the next 5 years, I think that becomes a huge, like a talent person from the studio maybe is hired just to seek out people on social media sites versus applications. I think, when Sway and I have talked a lot about it, like why we talked more about it with critiques and like the YouTube side of it, but it's like, why ignore these people? I think you've said that, like, why ignore these people?
Work with them.
Yeah. You said that for your site. If there's somebody that's into a certain game franchise, they're an expert at it. Why not bring them in? Well, I think game companies, they may see the exact, even as just what would the word be? Like when you're not really a consultant. Like even like a consultant. I think the Dead Space remake, remember they put together a team on Twitch of super fans, and they would show them from the beginning every like month. They would show them footage of the game, and they would like literally, it was like meetings, but they would do it with these consultants. They weren't paid, but they're Twitch streamers that love Dead Space, and they'd run them through. Okay, here's what we're thinking about changing. What do you think about Isaac's voice? And they would respond. Now I have some questions about who you would pick, right? You got to make sure you're picking the right people. But I think that idea, why not have these like focus groups? You know what I mean? Get a Last of Us creator group together, or a Hogwarts. Here's an idea. I've already brought a Hogwarts group together. Make a Hogwarts group and run through ideas with them. They know the community more than anybody. I think it's only a matter of time. I think that's the future,
And that would help a lot with the storytelling too.
Yeah. It's just more, it's more opinions, it's more ideas. And you don't have to accept them all. You could, you could shut them down. Always love Quantum Break because it reminded me of Flash, like the main villain who was played by Aidan Gillen reminded me of the Reverse Flash. I played a little bit of Quantum Break, but I didn't. That's one that it was kind of received mixed at the time. I kind of
It was a
agree with
movie.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
It was a movie. I mean, it was more movie than game.
Yeah. Scotty Fitness, hello. Do you think Yakuza would make a good movie? Yes. Yes. I actually do.
Easily.
Yeah, that is actually a very easy one. That if you're making like a Ghost of Tsushima movie, why haven't you made? I think Yakuza would work actually extremely well. And that's a big. I think it's kind of fallen off. Well, I don't know, but fallen off is in. I believe when the games first came out, they were selling like they saved Sega, and like literally they sold so much they saved a freaking company. So now you have all the spin-offs like Ignition and Judgment and all that stuff. I don't know if it's as powerful now as it was like in the mid to late 2000s, but I think you could do it. If you were to both decide it, would you hire people who made Batman 89 game demo to make it into reality? Yeah.
Yeah, easily.
Johnny Depp as Mad Hatter. I'd like to see Johnny Depp in a game. I've actually pitched that idea for a while. Okay. I've pitched the Johnny Depp thing. I don't know why. I mean, the Jack Sparrow thing, obviously, he should be the voice of Jack if there's a game. And I don't know who decided that he wouldn't be, but he's probably looking for work if you wanted to call him and apologize.
I think Johnny Depp would be like putting him into the right role. Like I wouldn't even limit him just to Batman character.
No,
because I would put him honestly, make a John Constantine game or something like that, and you can make him literally any character in the darker realms of DC. Like it wouldn't even just have to be boxed down to just Batman.
Yeah. I'd put him, what I would do? I'd put him in a Supermassive game, one of the horror games.
Yep.
Let him try out. They do celebrities. Now he would probably take up the whole budget, but try him out in the Quarry kind of game. Like, let me see if he's done it. The Secret Window, I think, is the movie. I love that movie. I think that's the name of it. He does weird horror things. So yeah, it's become a Johnny Depp stream. Yakuza always reminded me of like GTA, but in Tokyo, which is a great concept. Yeah, I mean it's grounded when it needs to be. It is wild, more wild than GTA, I think personally. Those games are a ride. So,
Johnny Depp in the DC game.
Yeah, I mean let's do it. I mean, where's the petition? I'll do it. Well, Sway, this has been an experiment. We had technical issues and actually we had notifications. I don't think a notification actually worked. We had notifications and then we had to cancel that stream because Discord wasn't working. But this was a lot of fun. I don't know about you. I'll have you say your goodbyes. But this is something Sway and I have talked about behind the scenes of wanting to experiment with. I've wanted to do like a morning show on the main channel in the past, and so maybe I can try it there as well. But I thought this was fun. I want to thank the audience we had here, and I think this is something we can kind of build off of going forward. So, Sway, anything you want to say?
Yeah, I definitely love this format. I love that the questions, instead of just like asking them every week, they're just in here and they're pumping them out, and we're getting them.
This is so much easier for us.
All the questions were, in my opinion, like really good and really thoughtful. So I love them. I'd be up for this anytime.
Nice. Well, there you go. I think guests, topics. I mean, we kind of had that. Mario was the main topic, and then we kind of had just back and forth. I think it could work. So I do want to try it on the main channel as well, just like a morning kind of show. But Sway and I, with this podcast, we're ready to rock with it, and we're getting close to 20. I think this is 18. Yeah, 18. So we got 2 more till 20. All right. Well, thank you all. And this actually, Sway, this keeps us like on time too. So we have like a nice, we can keep track of time and stuff. No, but we really appreciate your guys' support. Check out the links in the description, not even just for the people watching live, but obviously this video will get seen afterwards as well. All of our stuff, Sway's Twitter, I'm getting S and T getting mixed up. Sway's Twitter, the website, the funding page for it, all that stuff is in the description if you guys want to check it out. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you all on the next one.